Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Ajit Kumar from Center for Bioinformatics, MD University, Rohtak. Today we are going to discuss about a module named Drug Discovery, Development and Risk Assessment under the paper Animal Cell Biotechnology. Today we are going to talk about the basic module where the major objectives of this module will be knowing about the drug, what is drug basically, what are the purposes of drug usage, what is the life cycle of a drug, and how many approaches that we use for designing drug and develop a drug. That includes traditional and rational approach. How computer has helped us will be included in computer-aided drug design part, and finally we'll go through the method of the whole process of drug discovery. What is a drug? The word drug has been derived from the French word named drogue, which means dry herb. If we go through the technical definition, standard definition of WHO, a drug is any substance or product that is used or intended to be used to modify or explore the physiological systems or pathological states for the benefit of a patient. Before we move further, we should know the purpose for which drugs are being used. Basically, they can be classified, categorized for 4 uses. First one is diagnosis, where barium sulfate, the common chemical that is used to fill up the GI, gastrointestinal tract in X-ray, that is also called barium milk X-ray, to diagnose the peptic ulcer. Next is your prevention, where we have got vaccine programs, like example polio vaccines that are used for prophylaxis of polios, followed by control. Another purpose of drug use is control, where in example we can take up insulin that is used to control diabetes. And finally, we all know the cure of diseases. For example, any drug that we commonly use is metronidazole that is used for amoebiasis treatment. The life cycle of every drug has got a life cycle which starts, for example, for some 20 to 30 years, for which initial 15 years is about the development of it, where it takes 15 years, 10,000 compounds, and about more than 800 million US dollars to give birth to a new drug. The life cycle of drug generally goes through a journey of its conception, that means conceptualization, designing, manufacturing, and then finally seeking its place into marketplace. The life cycle of drug that we are going to explain here is from research to patient. How? Let us take patient as the starting point. Why do we need a drug, a new drug that's supposed to be in market? It may be a new disease that has been identified, or a drug failure that was already there in the market, or resistance development to the drug, and lastly, any new competitive drug that has come into market. So these all 4 basic causes leads us to think about a new drug, which in turn invites drug discovery process, which starts basically with the search of new chemical entities, from where we identify lead molecules. And from these lead molecules to prodrug is your drug development stage 1, that is called preclinical stages. These 2 initial stage, drug discovery, that means NCE to lead molecule, and drug development stage 1, preclinical stage, involves 6 to 7 years of time. Then comes the drug development stage 2, that is the clinical part, where we go for the clinical evaluation of the prodrug that are coming into development part, which involves pharmaceutical studies, pharmacological studies, and then obviously the clinical trial, the largest part. This includes phase 1, phase 2, 3, and 4. This whole stage 2 part of drug development involves 8 to 9 years. So in totality, if I can say, developing a new drug itself is costing you somewhere 16 to 17 years of time. I might give you an example of a drug that was supposed to be rather tagged as the blockbuster drug. Why do I call it a blockbuster drug? Because the gain that it made when it was first launched into market was above all the hit movies of that era. that was Hollywood movies, international movies. As you can see from the chart, that collection of those movies were $5.2 billion, while one drug, omeprazole, that came into market collected $6.26 billion revenue. But at the same time, that I may tell you that the risk involved, if the money, it's a money maker, then the risk involved is also very high. As I discussed earlier also, we start with 10,000 drugs, 10,000 molecules, reach to hardly a molecule which may or may not be a successful drug. So in turn, we can say drug designing is a little tricky and tedious process. We can divide the drug designing and development part into two types depending on the approaches that we make. First one is traditional approach and the second one is rational approach. Coming on to the first, traditional approaches, it involves mainly the isolation of active ingredients from natural products that we have, like penicillin coming out from fungi, Penicillium notatum, quinine coming from cinchona tree bark. Other way, we can also have the approach of screening out the natural compounds like sulfur drug. Then we have got another way of designing a new drug or developing a new drug is by modifying the existing compound. And then obviously the last is use of organic and synthetic compounds and also using structure activity relationship. For example, cephalosporin was developed by this. All these approaches basically has invited very cost involvement, time consumption, and really they need a trained manpower affair. So these basic three drawbacks, traditional approach invited a fierce competition between drug companies and forced them to go for rationalizing the drug discovery process. The rational approach of drug design and development involves all the computational tools basically, where the basic principle being followed is only one. When we have got a molecule, it can be related to it has got some of the properties, the physical chemical properties, which are also termed as descriptors. And these descriptors can be correlated to the biological activity of a molecule. Here, the biological activity means the therapeutic potential of the molecule. So the rational approaches involve structure-based drug designing, where we have got computational approach. Mind it, with double inverted comma, I will say, we don't mean traditional approaches are irrational. As far as modern drug discovery is concerned, the era has changed after post-genomic system. The moment post-2000, when we entered to 21st century, we had Human Genome Project coming into way and many other genome projects being completed. And this has given us a lot of data that relates genomics to disease or vice versa. With the help of bioinformatics and its tools, we go up further that in modern drug discovery system to identify target, validate the target, and go for its lead discovery that involves library design, docking, de novo design, pharmacophoric studies, and flexibility of the target. With this design part, we again go for another in silico part of modern drug discovery, that is lead optimization, which involves QSAR, that is quantitative structure activity relationship, where we go for structure-based optimization and then in silico ADMET profiling. ADMET stands for absorption, distribution, metabolism, excretion, and toxicological profile. Then we come down to, after these studies, the molecules which are passing on to from lead optimization, we go for preclinical trials where pharmacokinetics and dynamics, apart from ADMET, are being studied using animal models. Succeeding these preclinical trials, the drug or the prodrug enters into the clinical trial phase, where all the same pharmacokinetics, dynamics, and ADMET profiling and dosage are being carried out on human subjects. Here we come down to the computer-aided drug design. This is the part which I will tell you, where in silico portion of research has entered into drug designing process. CADD, computer-aided drug design, is basically divided into two types: structure-based computer-aided drug design and ligand-based drug design. Structure-based, where we have got the target site identified. When the cause of the disease or the cure of the disease is being identified, the target is identified, then we go for this model of a structure-based drug designing. It starts with target identification, going to assay development, characterization of the target, that means the protein or the enzyme that we are identifying as a target, characterizing them, going for initial high throughput screening through diverse libraries, developing compounds, developing pharmacophore, and then going for QSAR studies, that is 3D QSAR, three-dimensional quantitative structure activity relationship. With this, we go for in silico assay, where we have high throughput virtual screening to analyze the target molecules or the collected combinatorial library molecules. Then we design these combinatorial library molecules. And then we go for its docking profile to calculate the admit prediction or to estimate the admit. And then with this, the molecules are subjected to synthesis part. After synthesis, the molecules are subjected to, again, in vitro assay as well as in vivo assay, having this target or the similar proteins. And then further go for animal testing, that is your in vivo study for safety and efficacy before entering into the clinical trial. Anyway, if you look into, it's the assay of biochemical and cell-based assay, where if the molecule passes, it goes for the first pass to decide and continue for the project to lead development. That is the molecule which is supposed to be the prodrug. Anyway, at any stage, if a drug fails or a prodrug fails or molecule fails, it has to go back and has to be designed in silico again. It's an iterative process. The ligand-based drug design, where we have got the idea about some ligands showing some physiological or therapeutical properties. When we have this, the standard information that certain ligands or certain molecules have got their own therapeutic potentials, this method of computer-aided drug design is being adopted, where we have got initial libraries being screened out, creating a new model, again going for pharmacophoric design, QSAR studies, assaying them in silico, designing combinatorial library based on those ligands, and then going the same procedure that we had earlier also before entering into clinical assay. And always, again, I'm telling you, wherever we have got any failure, it goes into back iteration and we have to redesign the whole process. Now, coming down, if we expand it, the same drug discovery and development process, it has got three basic parts, where the system starts with target selection and validation, as I earlier discussed it, and then going for discovering the methodology of action, where we have got lead search as well as lead optimization, followed by development, where we have got animal models for drug candidate safety testing, and then followed by human studies, where we have got clinical trial phase 1, 2, and 3, before entering into final trial that leads to drug approval and registration. When it comes about the drug design process, the target selection is a major area where we have to look into when we start with drug designing. The disease which we are targeting, what is the basic need, where that disease has to be targeted. So the disease selection or the target selection, they differ. Disease is one thing where we have to design the drug for, and the cause of those disease is another, which we say in our technical term, the target of the drug design. So for that, first thing that we need is to understand the molecular mechanism of the disease, how the disease is being caused from the initial stage to the final stage. And between these things, we can identify all those molecules which we call the therapeutic targets, which the pathways which are responsible for causing a disease. In those pathways, identify, say, a gene or key enzyme, receptor, maybe an anion channel, a nuclear receptor. For example, I'll give you one example where we designed for epilepsy. It's a common disease, neurological disease, being caused by an anion channel defect. That is voltage gated ion channel, the sodium channel, VGSC. The drug that is being very common, universally being used for treating epilepsy is VPA, valproic acid. They target this ion channel. So the ion channels, basically all those membrane channels, membrane proteins are very good targets, therapeutic targets for most of the diseases. So first thing that in the process of designing or discovering a new drug is to identify the target and select those targets. And first, other thing is that we have to demonstrate also by all the in silico in vitro methods, models, that these targets are relevant to control those disease. That's what I say. Demonstrate that target is relevant to the disease mechanism using genetics, animal models, lead compounds, antibodies, interfering RNAs, etc. With the discovery part, the drug which is supposed to be designed, it has got two methods for developing the assay. That is, one is in vitro and another one is in vivo. In vitro can be all what we have commonly in our lab, that is called enzyme assays and different chemical assays, while the in vivo, where we use animal models or pharmacodynamic assays, which leads to the identification of the lead compound, which is done by screening the collection of compounds, which can be a combinatorial library generated in silico or a combinatorial library generated synthesized chemical, compound from any published literature, screening the natural products, or earlier, as I have discussed, rational drug design, that is your structure-based drug design. With this proof of concept for a molecule, we can go for testing of the same for clinical trials, preclinical trial, that is called animal disease model, how these molecules are going to perform on animal disease models. And when we have got a success over these animal disease model, the drugs which are passing on this proof of concept stage goes on to optimization, where we give drug-like properties, where we evaluate the drug-like properties of the compound. That involves pharmacokinetic studies, metabolism, and off-target activities. Off-target activities are those which can cause the side effects. Obviously, with these, we go for final safety assessment and preclinical, and then the candidate, the drug molecule or the prodrug molecule, is declared as a preclinical candidate. The development, where it goes for the efficacy studies. Here we have to see, after the development, the molecule has to go from preclinical to clinical studies. During preclinical part, we have to evaluate the safety assessment, the toxicological profiling, and then ADME, the drug metabolism, the pharmacology, that means that includes thermodynamics and the kinetics. Dynamics is the study where we have got how a molecule is going to be responded by the body, where the kinetics, pharmacokinetics part studies where what a molecule is going to do with the body. So in these two, pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics, comprehensively are known as pharmacological studies, and they come under ADME, drug metabolism part. With this success, the prodrug molecule or the molecules which are passing out this stage enters into manufacturing stage, where their manufacturing process is being designed by process R&D, chemical engineering R&D, and manufacturing units. Then comes the pharmaceutical research and development formulation, where they are being developed into the injectables or the tablet formats, whichever the format which we want to administer. After that, it has to enter into the clinical phase, where after clinical phase, they have to go for regulatory affairs, where project planning and management and marketing, everything has to be evaluated, apart from the statistics and epidemiology, data coordination, research information system, and information services, which leads to the data of clinical trials. And then finally, it enters into the chamber of clinical investigator, where patients are being taken care of. This part is called clinical pharmacology and clinical research. This clinical research, other way also termed as clinical trials. The clinical trial phase starts with the investigational new drug application. We also call it IND. It has got three major phases. Phase 1, that starts with 2,200 healthy volunteers that take part in and who are supposed to be administered drug for about a month. The response are being recorded and entered as the data. The information that are learned from this phase 1 is how a molecule is being absorbed and metabolized. What are the effects of the molecule on organ and tissues? What are the side effects as a dose are increased? With this phase, passing the phase 1, a molecule enters into phase 2 trial, where we have got several hundred health impaired patients, and they are divided into treatment group as well as control group. And the same drug molecule or the same prodrug candidate drug is being administered to all these treatment group as well as the control group to collect the information where, like the effectiveness in the treating disease, short-term side effects in health impaired patients, as well as what should be the dose range. I will tell you here only that phase 2 and phase 1 differ in basically where we have got phase 1 with only healthy volunteers, a small group 20 to 100 sitting in a remote area, while phase 2 is handling the patient as well as the control group, and the number of patients goes from 100 maximum to thousands. Then we have got the third phase, that is phase 3 of clinical trial, where 100 and 1000 or 1000 of health impaired patients, they are being given the administered the dose of the drug being evaluated. And after this, the information that are collected will be the benefit and risk relationship of a drug. What all are the benefits that are a patient getting out compared to the risk which are involved in the drug. And most important is the acute and the chronic side effects of the drug, apart from which these informations which are supposed to be as the labeling information for the drug when being marketed. With these passage of drug molecule candidate enters into the doctor's chamber after fourth clinical trial phase. The last stage of clinical trial starts with the submission of these clinical trial data, trial 1, 2, and 3 data, to the regulatory agencies. Here we have, for example, Food and Drug Authority, FDA in US, is one of the regulatory agencies to market out the new drug, and then we have to apply that IND as an NDA, that is called New Drug Application, which goes for approval processes to FDA. Advisory Committee of FDA and Regulatory Review Team of FDA evaluates, reviews the comments, and discuss about the reports of clinical trials, phase 1, 2, and 3, and then they decide the regulatory activities of the drug, finally giving the approval of the drug. Here, I may tell you one thing. When we start with 10,000 drug molecule candidates, we end up hardly with approval of a single drug. Many times it's also a failure. So dear students, to summarize the whole module of drug discovery, development, and risk assessment, I may tell you that it's nothing but the convergence of all discipline. Not one discipline, not one field can help you out in developing, designing, discovering a drug. If you look into a drug design and discovery process, we need biochemical approaches. Biochemistry is required for determining the structural activity relationship, SAR, that we have said. Pharmacological studies are being done where we talk about the pharmacodynamics, the study of pharmacokinetics. Pharmacodynamics and pharmacokinetics, how a drug is acting on a patient or a body, and how the body is responding to that drug. These all parts are all related to immunology as well as pharmacological studies. Then we have got enzymology, where we talk about the pharmacokinetic, how our enzymes are getting responded to the drug. And then we have got the physical, then the in vitro activities, where we evaluate the drug in the preclinical phase as well as in the clinical phase even. Obviously, when we talk about, so there we have the importance of pharmacology, pathology, physiology, and then safety, obviously, where when we have drug in market, the first thing which we have to think about is how safer is a drug to be introduced in a body, whether it is a patient, an ailing patient even. So there we have again the science of metabolic activities, physiology, metabolism, safety assessment, they all come into play. Apart from that, the most important which we are gaining these days are in silico drug design process. That is what I have discussed a lot here in my module, that is computer-aided drug design, where we have got modeling, which is involved in the designing process of drug. Apart from generating a combinatorial library where we can come out with all the series of novel molecules, the new molecules which can be evaluated, and then again this chemistry part where we have got coming into play, that is synthetic chemistry, which is going to synthesize those novel molecules for us. So with inclusive all these, if you look into, we are ultimately, lastly and not the least, is the legal part coming into, where we have got the intellectual property is not being violated for any of the subject, be it patient, control, as well as the patenting part, where all the novel discoveries are being properly patented or being evaluated for in the legal aspect. So if you look into the broader aspect of drug discovery process and even the development and designing process, it involves different varieties of disciplines, which involves law, physiology, biochemistry, pharmacology, immunology, enzymology, physical chemistry, behavioral science, pathological science, pharmacological science, safety assessment, metabolism, information technology, modeling, that comes under bioinformatics part, combinatorial library generation, and synthetic chemistry part, which are going to generate those, synthesize those molecules which are supposed to be evaluated. Again, I'm telling you, these are novel molecules. Last but never the least, I'm again telling you, the risk is high, gain is high. And obviously, the drugs which come into market, they reap out a huge gain. So again, in turn, the risk involved in designing any of the drug is very, 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 very high. So this whole process should be very foolproof when we start to end part, because time is involved, money is involved, overall risk is involved. Thank you.